Hello, football family. Welcome into Huddle It Up Live, episode 17. Here we are, Alec, getting late in the season, man. Hopefully, the Ravens can turn things around on offense, get things going, and make a run because they scooted up to number 3 in the AFC standings after winning against the Denver Broncos 10-9. Alec, chaotic week here in Baltimore. A lot of emotions flying. How are you feeling tonight, sir?
I feel fine, I guess. This team, I thought they would win the whole time, even though there was really no evidence to have that kind of confidence. I was like, they're going to score the last drive. They'll go ahead. They're going to win. It's going to happen. It's just, we're going to hate it the whole way through. We're going to have that kind of week. But it's all good. Like, I'm glad they got the W. It looks all the same as any dominant W as far as, you know, wins and loss column cares. And it's all about how the team can grow going forward. I think I still believe, maybe foolishly, that they can turn this around and reach their potential. So just gotta keep on believing.
Just go for the ride. That's where I am, Alec. Just go for the ride. See where it takes you. I'd be lying if I didn't say I was down this week. I feel down this week after the win. I do. Optimistic guy. I'm always ask me ask me after Thanksgiving how I feel, and it's after Thanksgiving. And with Lamar being injured, it really changes things. Just wanted to say, dominant performance by the defense. It really was a lot of fun to watch on film. Shortest film of the year by far.
Yeah.
Like it was about a half hour worth of defense, and that was it. That was pre-snap and everything. Just got off the field, got in the Broncos' faces, ended things early. But I mean, brain over brawn in here already. Alec, this is the kind of comments, this kind of mood everybody's in, man. Fire Rome in the end, man. Greg Roman, of course, interviewing with Stanford, could take that job at any time. I kind of thought he would take it already. We'll see if he sticks with the Ravens and towards the end of the year. The Ravens brought in Willie Taggart for a meeting, not an official interview. We'll get into that, but just a lot of things going on before, aside from the win on Sunday, Alec.
Willie Taggart. That's the first time I'm hearing that name. I must be out of the loop. When did that happen? When did you hear about this?
Yeah, he was brought in. Man, I hope I got his name right, man.
I
If
haven't
I
heard about anyone being brought in. I my correspondence did not assist. What's going on here? I was
this
on
is a
Twitter too. I went to go and
big
look on
story,
Twitter to
brother.
see if I missed anything.
Yeah,
Dang.
now see, you shouldn't have, man. This is a 2-day story, Alex. So we'll get into that in a little bit.
Dang.
Wanted to ask you about the Ravens game though first. Dominant performance by the defense, uh, but obviously Tyler Huntley came through at the end with the long drive for the win. How are you feeling about the Lamar injury and the switch over here to Tyler as we try to get through a few games until Lamar can come back?
Yeah, I think let's see. So we got the Steelers this week, and we got after that the Falcons. I think if you had to pick a 2-game stretch for Lamar to be out for, this might be it. Like, just being honest, like how many 2-week stretches were, I guess, like as winnable as these two, even at this point of the season? I think it might be all right. I think actually I'm a little more optimistic on Lamar coming back. And being himself in a week or two. Like I don't think this is going to be like last year where he just like lingers for a while. It seems like we have a good handle of what the injury is. And oh yeah, Shrimp Trawler's right. We got Cleveland coming up. Uh I still think it's like not that bad because I think Watson's going to be bad. I really do. I think
Yeah, let's bring
starting
up
off
the
that way.
standings since Shrimp Trawler brought it up. Thank you,
Yeah.
Shrimp Trawler, as usual. Yeah, the Ravens have Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and then Atlanta at home. Want to bring up some comments from our guys already in the room. Thank you so much. We're going to pick things up and get going here. Jeff J, hey everyone, got that right. Gut check time. I don't know why we still in fix it mood. Still, yeah, it does feel like it. Brain over brawn saying, laughing out loud. Used to think that meant lots of laughs. That was what I thought it meant. Hello, fellas. Kim S in the building. Hope everyone is having a good night. We got Queen B in the building. Good evening, Flock Nation. Hope everyone is well. Yolanda, we're going to get into Willie Taggart. I know you were asking me about that, so we'll get into that real quick. We'll catch Alec up. Can't believe Alex
Yeah.
sleeping on the job there.
I'm
Shrimp
I'm so sorry.
Shrimp Trawler. We went to Banks and Dilfer in 2000, Cam Cameron to Jim Caldwell in 2012, Huntley and T. Martin in 2022. See, Shrimp Trawler's already on what I'm
Shrimp.
on.
I think we just do one. Let's just do one. We'll do the Team Art one. I want to get back to Lamar.
Yeah, well, speak on Lamar. Yeah, you were saying, you
I think
think
he'll
he'll
come
be back
back
in.
and like I don't know, man. It's like a stupid thing to say almost psychologically. But it's like maybe like a little bit of a break would be good. Get him doing the mental reps, not have to worry about the physical ones. And I don't know. Like I think I think Lamar was getting a little bit in his own head, thinking that he had to be Superman. And if we could get a win or two without him, I think it might like put his mind in the right place. I I think that's another optimistic take. I would never choose to do this to him without an injury. You know what I mean? But maybe that will be a pleasant surprise.
I'm hoping that Lamar comes back and some of these nagging injuries, like the hip and
Hip, yeah, yeah, right.
whatever whatever else he was dealing with clear up so he can come back even fresher because last time we saw Lamar in this offense without his legs, man, it just he needed to use his legs for us to score points in games this year. I remember the end of the Cincinnati game and at points in that Jacksonville game where he just had to turn it on, use his legs for this offense to full go. And Alec, with Tyler Huntley, it almost seemed like, now I don't know if this was because Mark Andrews was next man up at quarterback, but they did not use Tyler in the read option. Like it was all running backs and short passes. So a clear difference in the offense the Ravens were running, just like last year.
Yeah, I think the nice thing is with the ability to call up that second quarterback again. I think that's going to be back in the playbook for the weeks to come. It was just that gotcha, which once again, like it makes me beat the drum. I really think the NFL should change the rules, similar to the offensive lineman that you can activate. I think there should be a third quarterback activation each week because this happens a couple times a year. It's not just like a Ravens thing where like the backup comes in and then the backup has like an injury scare or something, and then you're like to your emergency quarterback because no one's carrying three on game day. Like that's just not really a thing. So it just like leads to lower quality of play. And I
I
thought they're
agree.
about like good quality play. just
I agree. I think a rule would be simple. If you rule one quarterback out for the game and he's not allowed to come back in the game, you should have an emergency quarterback that you can play because like you said, it does no good for anybody. Different topic, different time. But so you think the read option will be back with Tyler this Sunday?
I do. And I guess like we still have Anthony Brown on the practice squad too. So I guess I don't know. Like I'm curious. I think they liked Anthony better. I think he did better in preseason. So I would imagine he's the next man up over Hundley, and Hundley's just the insurance.
Yeah, both have been with the team, so that helps.
Yeah.
Not coming into something foreign, but Tyler Huntley is a very good backup quarterback. He is a backup, does limit this offense. Lamar and Tyler Huntley are completely different quarterbacks. Not completely, I guess, because they can both run really well, and that's what people see. But when you watch the film, it's a completely different Taylor styled offense than it was last year. The ability to go through reads that Lamar has, the ability to make every throw on the field that Lamar has, are things that Tyler Huntley isn't at this point in his ear. At this point in his career, he's not able to do. So you saw the quick passing game. It really up tempo too. There was not. We didn't come close to running the play clock down to zero. It was get these plays in, which makes me think that the plays themselves are more simplified, a more simple offense, a less dangerous offense, a more move the ball, 5 yards at a time type offense when Tyler Huntley is in there.
Yeah, they stick to the specials, not the Cheesecake Factory menu, man. I keep saying it. I'm telling you, they're too busy at the Cheesecake Factory looking at like 30 different cheesecakes, a bazillion pages of different dishes. And it's like, nah, man, we just need to keep it simple. You can only call 60 plays or so in a game. Like we don't need to be choosing from a list of 500 plays. Like you just don't. Not every game, at least.
It's frustrating, and that part of that I get frustrated with John Harbaugh. To be honest with you, I don't care who your coordinator is. If the play clock running down to zero is a constant issue, you need to fix it. And then I'll take it a step further, Alec. I would love to see Lamar Jackson afforded the opportunity to come up to the line and be able to read the defense, find the mismatch, give him more time instead of being in a rush. all darn game trying to get the playoff. So
Great point. To that point, we saw when Huntley had the chance to read the defense, he did do an option. He did switch out of a play once, and we just don't give Lamar that kind of time. And I don't think it's a sabotage thing or anything like that. Some of the narratives been out there. I think it's just like they have this mode of thinking when Lamar's in there, they can call all these different plays, all these different packages, like want to change it up every 2 seconds, and like they don't let him get in a groove. Uh, and it just because like they're outthinking themselves. Um, I don't know if everyone here has seen The Good Place, but Jordan Coe, I said it on the Situation Room, and I loved it. He's like Cheaty, he's indecisive to a fault when he gets all these options out there.
well, I agree. I don't see it as being some kind of sabotage. I've seen that floated. It's just when Lamar is your quarterback, you have so many options. You see all these substitutions come in when Lamar Jackson's your quarterback. You see all this complicated stuff where really, your play call is directing almost to the point where you're telling each of the 11 guys what they're doing individually. Whereas like, high school play, you could be like 152 read on one. All right, bam. Everybody knows it's a read option to the left or to the left or the right. And that's pretty much it. Triple option offense. But Greg Roman, the number of assignments that he's asking them to do, they could be asking to do anything on any single play. Think of the way we use Ricard. So with Tyler Huntley, he doesn't have all that confidence. So he just gets in a basic play call, it seems, a more basic play call. A lot of 3-step drops. Even if he's in the shotgun, it's 3-step drop timing. 1, 2, 3, bam, balls out. Quick read. And quite frankly, Alec, I wish Lamar was afforded some of those quick, easy throws in his offense. Like, I don't want to see a whole Tyler Huntley offense with Lamar behind center because that would limit him. There's a reason that
Sure.
Tyler runs that offense. But at the same time, I would love some of these extensions of the run game, and Lamar afforded the opportunity, like I said, to get to the line quickly, call something simple, and let Lamar make magic.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, and we said this last year too. That's what's so frustrating about it. When Huntley came in, it was like, oh, look, they're like starting to call these quicker pass plays, or they're starting to get to the line faster. And we don't want to do that all the time with Lamar. You're absolutely right. But there's something nice about just a quick timing route. Like, do we think Lamar can throw a timing route? Absolutely. Are they extremely effective and hard to defend if done correctly? Absolutely. Like, give him some easy buttons. Like, give the guy a chance out there. And they've done that a couple times, and then we saw like our players drop the ball. That's just like variants popping in the wrong direction. It doesn't mean it's not a good idea. So I think it's it's the time, and we never got to see it. That's the worst part about last year. But I think this year we will. We'll have this Huntley experience. They'll learn from it, hopefully, and then when Lamar comes back, I think they might actually maybe they'll just do it this time.
Yeah,
Just like they won't.
Greg Roman won't do it because he had a chance to do it coming into this year and he didn't. So,
That's fair. That's
but
fair.
yeah, man, I mean, what else do we have to see? Roman's going to is going to do Greg Roman, and it's up to Harbaugh to change that or to let it fly.
I feel like this is the most negative you've been, Jason, about Greg. What was the sea change?
No, I mean, I don't talk about it every week like some people.
Sure.
I don't talk about it every day on Twitter, but some people. But going back to after the 2020 season is when I wanted to switch from Roman, and it has nothing to do with his offense at all. I think his offense is fine. It's the way he calls it and the way he actually coordinates throughout a game drives me up a wall because you can see things work, and we'll go away from it. You can see deficiencies like in the offensive line last year. Like Lamar led the league in air yards with one of the worst offensive lines in the league. So he
Yeah.
was getting crushed in the pocket, holding on to the ball, waiting for these longer routes to develop with Hollywood and Sammy. You know, did not change until Tyler Huntley came in. I was like, man, I wonder if Roman even has quick plays in the quick book or in the playbook. Oh, look, it's all quick plays. So, I just, some people like to express their frustrations every day, every show. Greg Roman's got to go. Greg Roman's got to go. I'm not that type of guy. I'm going to deal with reality here in the future. But now the reality has come that we've brought in Willie Taggart on a long stop, and that's starting to make me feel like Alec that T. Martin or a change could be coming. as far as Greg Roman leaving for Stanford, because as you know, Alec, the transfer portal is starting up,
Yeah,
and college coaches need to be on their job quicker. So if Greg Roman's going to Stanford, he really needs to get to work over there.
absolutely. I mean, it's irresponsible from Stanford. They're full of smart kids. It'd be irresponsible for him not to get over there right away, get that transfer portal going. I think, Godspeed. It's a beautiful campus.
Actually, something that makes me feel optimistic in a way. I'm going to get to Elliot here. Cheers, Jason, Alec, chat fam. Hope everyone's doing well. Finishing up this Roquan wired up. Love that, man. Yeah, I'm going to get a chance to see it. It's funny, Elliot, because originally I was going to schedule our Wednesday night live shows for 8 o'clock, but then I realized that it was Ravens wired time. So that's actually the reason we're on at 8:30 instead of 8 o'clock. Balmer Don C back in the chat. Yeah. That's what I like seeing, man. At Jason, what's up, friend? Alec in the co-pilot seat. Nice. Yeah, dude. You are the pilot of this ship, man. Shrimp Trawler, Don C, Yolanda B. A lot of good, great people I get to see almost every week. Simply AS10, thanks for stopping by, man. We may have Alec, just to let you know, spoiler alert, may have Alex on the program as soon as next week.
Ooh, gotta happen.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, Don C, getting over the COVID, I see in the comments, man. I hope that you're feeling well, brother. Love you to death. Um, what I was going to continue to say is I'm actually kind of hopeful because, like I said, it's not Greg Roman's offense, but in particular that bothers me. He's got all kinds of plays. We can see him run out of wide sets. We can see him spread the field. It's not like he's just going to put two tight ends on the field all the time. That's all that's in the playbook. He's got a wide open playbook. It's the way he calls it, the way he dilly dallies around in it, that just grinded on me for over 2 years now. To where, okay, if you're going to say give T Martin that playbook, but T Martin is driving the wheel, that actually is making me more and more optimistic, I think, than most Ravens fans. If you want me to get back on the positive, T's been in this system now. He has seen the play, knows the offense by now. He was a former quarterback. Of course, T is picking up the offense.
Yeah.
Josh Johnson can pick it up in 1 week. T Martin knows what's going on in this offense. So maybe T calling Greg's offense would actually be a huge spark. And who knows what, other teams not being able to prepare from that. That's my optimistic side right now, where I'm saying, well, like the comment earlier, we just same playbook, different pilot, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the key is there's nothing wrong with Greg's plays. Well, some of them have some issues, right? But like it's it's not like the plays don't exist. Like this is not it's not like a mystery. It's not some secret alliance of the plays. Like everyone sees everyone's tape. Everyone knows what everyone does in the NFL. These playbooks are not that different from team to team. It's really just it comes down to what they actually choose to use. What is their bread and butter? You know, like I might like garlic powder, you might like paprika. But like at the end of the day, we both have them in our spice cabinet. And like that's kind of what it is. And I think I was saying this to my buddy K Fish, like I'm convinced that this offense is not necessarily the problem. It's the sequencing, it's the strategy, it's the scheme. Like it's the guy calling it. Like the plays itself aren't not necessarily all that bad. And I definitely completely agree with you. And I was hoping like we would see in the booth one day, like T up there or somebody that's not just Greg to see like maybe the change of the guard happen live. But I don't know. I guess it's not going to work out that way. It seems like it might just be sudden.
Okay, so I need to catch you up now. It's time to talk some Willie Taggart. Okay.
Yeah, I googled him. Like I
Okay.
complained to my
Look,
boys that they didn't tell me
just sit
about
back,
this.
just sit back and listen because I'm
All right.
past where you are right now. So it's a good opportunity just to give everyone the backstory anyway. So buckle up, fellas. Here we go.
All right.
So this man named Willie Taggart, who was former Florida State coach, is what he's most famous for, other than his playing days, where he was a great player. He was recruited by Jack Harbaugh, father of John Harbaugh, Jim Harbaugh. Apparently, they got so close that his future wife, I believe her name was Tanisha Taggart, joked and was like, "We're gonna have to come up with a J name." Called him Jason in a joking way because you have Jack, Joni are the parents, and John and Jim are the sons. So Willie Taggart, jokingly got the nickname, the moniker Jason from apparently from his fiance at the time, maybe his wife. Might mess that up. So he was recruited by the Harbaughs. He also visited the University of Colorado and Deion Sanders this week. He also visited, you guessed it, Alec, Jim Harbaugh in Michigan this week. So he's kind of making the rounds. Now he's
Huh.
a well-traveled coach. Obviously, if he was recruited by Jack Harbaugh, he's not a spring chicken, not necessarily like an older guy, but not a spring chicken. Um, he coached USF and turned them around. So he did a really good job there. I think his first 2 seasons were just horrible. He got his kids in, turned them around, and got promoted to Oregon. Spent 1 year, I believe, with Justin Herbert there in Oregon. It was like a middling season. They let him go. He
Oh,
lands at Florida State University. Now, here's where people know him from. And, obviously, Florida State's a big university. He was fired towards the end of the second season. I don't believe he made it through the season. And people are really frustrated on him. Didn't really like what they saw from Florida State fans. So he went to Florida Atlantic. Florida Atlantic, 3 years, not really good. Okay, so this isn't the most stellar resume. This isn't some up and coming coach that needs a chance. That's the story of Willie Taggart comes in for a visit. He runs something called the Gulf Coast offense, Alec, which I'm not familiar of, and I'm familiar in a lot of X's
yeah.
and O's type of stuff. So basically, it sounds a lot like Roman's offense, buddy. And the only thing I noticed different is he likes to get to the line and spread it out and allow his quarterbacks to read, which I just went on a rant that they don't let Lamar do that. But I formations, wide receivers must block. These are all the type of things that you're hearing from the scouting report. So, Alec, you missed all of this.
I
You
know I'm
missed all of
catching up.
this.
I'm catching up live, dude. I'm doing my homework right now.
But now, forget about the homework, bro. It's okay. Forget
Yeah.
about the homework. How do you think Ravens Twitter and the Ravens flock reacted to everything that I just told you there, sir?
I would say, are we allowed to curse on this show? I forget what the deal is.
You can bleep it out if you want.
Same S, different day.
Yeah, the nepotism,
Yeah. Oh,
the
and the nepotism. Yeah.
oh gosh, yeah. So people are losing their minds. And what I would say on this, my quick prediction here is that he reminds me of something that they would do with, say, David Culley. Okay, there's a lot of
Yeah.
people thinking, all right, they're bringing in this guy to replace Giro. I don't see that happening. I see if Giro moves on to Stanford, that T. Martin will probably step up and take the place. He's been with the team all year. I
Yeah.
see Taggart as kind of like a passing, doing what T. Martin's doing now, say. So I think that that's where a lot of people are fired up about. And I'm going on record here tonight just to let you all know. I don't think that this guy is going to be our next offensive coordinator. I think if anything, they promote from within like they usually do. T.
Yeah.
Martin takes over for at least the end of the season, and Willie Taggart's brought on like a Jim Culley. So, Alec, those are my thoughts. A lot to unpack there. Flashbacks to David Culley with the family ties. Flashbacks to Ben Mason being drafted, my friend.
Ben Mason. All right. Well, I can see. I agree with what you're saying, though, for sure. I think if I was hip and actually knew about this news live, it was a part of the discourse, I would have said the same thing as you, as far as I don't think he would come in to be the OC directly, because that doesn't seem like a Harbaugh move. It doesn't seem like a Bisciotti move. Like, it just doesn't seem like the Ravens at all to do something like that. And but I could see like them wanting to backfill the other position, right? And you know, it is a Harbaugh move to look at his Rolodex of people he knows and pull from there. And for what it's worth, it's midseason. I think every coach is doing that midseason. If you're going to do like a deep dive of like who to find, you're not doing that midseason, particularly when you're in the playoff race. Like, you got other things to worry about. So you're going to think about the people you already know. So I wouldn't even like indict him for that. I just think, given the timing and the circumstances, sure, go with this guy if you want. Anything, I'd say this is a not that even bitter pill to swallow to get Roman out at this point. I'll take it.
Well, he could be being used. I don't hate it. It's going to bat for your. He could be used as like a bargaining chip to get his name out there. He interviewed with Deion Sanders at Colorado too, so maybe this is putting some kind of pressure on Deion to make it. I don't know. Okay, but all I know is on Twitter, it sounds like if you read that you'd be like, we're bringing in this guy to be our next offensive coordinator, and I don't think that's going to happen. So, want to get some comments. Check this out. This brings a smile to my face, Alec. G,
Hey, the sergeant.
the
What's up,
sergeant,
man?
with of course the Ray Lewis avatar or whatever that's called, man. PFP, love it, love you, G. Hope you're doing well. Yolanda B, great thought here. My concern with parting ways with Giro is that his replacement will have the same mindset, and our offense will continue to struggle. Yolanda, me too. Like I think it goes to Harbaugh, his mindset of wanting to control the clock, play defense, and not giving Lamar a and I tell you what, I'm going to be really upset if we lose Lamar over this kind of stuff, Alec. But to Yolanda's point, if you want to comment on that, sir.
I honestly think Lamar should run this franchise. Like, and I'm not even like kidding. Like, he is such a dynamic player, and if he wants X, like you give him X. Like, I don't see why, from a coaching perspective or a direction perspective, I can see pushback, I can see constructive criticism, but like if he's like this guy has to go for all these reasons, like that's not a successful like managerial relationship at that point. And at the end of the day, they're the ones playing, they're the ones trying to score you points, and I think they matter more. Like just
I
being
mean,
honest.
franchise quarterback, it's got to be a partnership with that quarterback. Lamar shouldn't run the franchise. That's not what he's paid to do. He's paid to be a hell of a quarterback. But when you talk about what kind of offense, what he's comfortable with, what he's seeing, you need the quarterback's input. He can't just be, a bystander and be treated like every other player. You really need to come up with a plan with your quarterback.
Agreed.
Bailey
And I
got
guess what I'm saying is like there's only a couple quarterbacks. There's a lot of really good coaches out there, right? Like I think that's the difference. So I would lead towards giving the quarterback, his preference.
I hear you, man. I hear you. So look, even me and you, man, getting feisty. Bailey got beats. Love, love you, brother. Way to come in. Um, yeah, yeah, tough. Glad to see. Glad to see everybody in the comments. Sorry about that. Jeremiah caught my attention. Mason would be getting 20 snaps a game if Ricard is. Yeah, thanks. That's a good one, Mason. That was a good one. So we're gonna just look at this really, really quickly before we go to some really beautiful film. The AFC picture, Alec. You see, the Ravens have moved up to that number 3 spot after Tennessee lost last week. So despite all the tension I have here, I'm just a little bit out of it, bro. Like just a little bit mad. We're still in a really good spot. You see Buffalo's schedule. Those games in yellow are the games against the other teams listed here. So Buffalo is going to be playing the competition in the AFC almost here on out. KC looks like a pretty decent schedule. If I had to guess, like I said last week, I think KC
Yeah.
runs away with the number 1 seed. And then there's the Ravens schedule. Cincinnati at 8-4, heating up, Alec.
Yeah, they are. I'm glad that we have until the very end of the year to have to face them. Like if we were playing them this week, it'd be a whole different tune. But thankfully, we got at Pittsburgh and at Cleveland, and not at Cincy. So
Yeah.
that's the fortunate thing, right? Like, yeah, we need them at the end.
There you go. So, hey, Yuri is in here. Let's make it a party. Thank you, Yuri. Love you, brother. Thank you for coming through. And Bailey, never thought about that, Jason. I swear he's replaced T. Martin and not the other way when T gets the promotion. You're welcome, Bailey. Like I went on, from Twitter and everything else, and all I hear is people saying Willie Taggart's being brought in. He might be the next offensive coordinator, and I just don't buy it, Alec. The Ravens aren't going to make a change to somebody outside the organization midseason. This is going to be the T. Martin show. I guarantee you, if Roman leaves for Stanford in the middle of this week, if he does it tomorrow, T. Martin will be calling plays for the rest of this season. That's the way I see it. I see Taggart as the David Culley. So Yuri, Garnett, there you go, fellas. You heard it here. Get the word out on the street. Try to calm all those fools down on Twitter who are just making it unnecessary. So we talked about the defense, Alec, and we got some beautiful, beautiful film coming
we do
here, brother. I made a video. Don't know if you guys saw it. Feel free to catch it. It is basically every run play the Broncos ran and how the Ravens fared against this. I picked out my favorite 9 runs here, and that I want to highlight. And basically, Alec, I'm going to let the play through regular speed, and once it comes up in the slow motion, I'll have players highlighted that we can talk about. So here we are, 1st and 10, first quarter here, 3-yard gain here for Latavius Murray. And look at that effort by Calais Campbell if you can see him sling him down. So there are 4 people highlighted here. That's Matabike on the left, Broderick Washington playing a pseudo nose tackle at the 2-eye technique. You got Calais out there, and you got Roquan Smith. So let's start with Matabike, who's all the way on the left. Let's watch him on this play. Jumps off the line of scrimmage with power, is able to strong arm his guy, and even though that plays on the backside, he is going to do his thing. That's what you want to see. Sorry about that, guys. Let's take a look at Broderick Washington in the middle. Number 96. Uproot his guy and get right in the running back's lane. He's the one who actually makes this play first, Alec. Watch 96.
Yep. You see a lot of that too on the film. One guy will disrupt, allowing the other person to make the play. Who was it? Roquan opened it up for Owe later in the game for the sack. Kyle Hamilton completely blew up a play, and then I forget who cleaned it up. But like that's how this defense has been trained to play at this point. Is let's have one guy absolutely disrupt the play. If he can make an incredible tackle, awesome. If not, surely he'll deviate their plan. We'll be able to clean it up, and that's a recipe for success.
Yeah, and especially it allows Queen to attack in that way. You don't have to ask Patrick Queen to think as much. You just send him blitzing up the gap. We'll see some of that coming up. Calais Campbell on the right, number 93, in front of Roquan Smith. Check him out. He's the one who makes this play, taking on the double team, and then look at the strength there to grab him with the right hand. Just an unbelievable play. And Roquan is doing what you're talking about. He's setting up this play as well, jumping into the first running lane, into the second running lane, and making Murray go sideways. So we're going to see this team defense all over again. Check this play out. Same guys making the play. It's going to be Campbell. It's going to be Roquan. It's going to be Matabike. Let's start with Matabike on the left there. You see him take on the moving block, shove his man straight into the running game. That's a good way to get an offensive lineman hurt. Matabike dominating. The most impressive one on this is Broderick Washington. Watch him take both hands up and put them on both guys and keep Roquan clean.
That's awesome.
While not giving up ground, by the way. Maybe he gives up a yard or so, but he's not really getting moved, blasted off the spot.
And two guys. Sheesh.
Yep. Calais, of course, is the penetrator here. You see him just dominate his man, toss him aside, and make first contact. And, of course, Roquan coming in from the linebacker position. So strong, not going to get dragged, lowers the shoulder, gets the leverage, pops him up. A bunch of guys flying around, Alec. It's just beautiful to see.
Yeah, I mean, this defense is really getting exceptional now. And Calais Campbell, man, he found the fountain of youth. He is playing so darn well this year. I mean, he's been playing well for all his years in Baltimore, but I feel like this is his best one yet.
Yeah, and we're going to see Calais again here too. There he is in the middle, nose tackle, Calais. Let's take a look at him. Just completely dominating his man and making the play. And that's one of those plays, Alex, where you're saying he's beating the guy so fast, getting in the backfield, and it might go as a missed tackle for PFF, but he's really the one making the play.
For sure.
JPP on this play deserves a lot of recognition. A lot of people wouldn't look at JPP, but check him out. Number 4, take on this double team and keep PQ clean and allows PQ to finish off really, really strong. Hey, before we get into another play, can I get a thumbs up down there in the waiting room, my friend? Yeah, buddy. There he is. Jamil, Ravens Elite, making it in the building, man. How you feeling, brother? We're looking at this beautiful defensive line footage, man. Beautiful defensive line footage.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. So, Jamil, before we get back into the tape, bro, there's no way that Willie Taggart is going to be taking over as offensive coordinator. He's coming in to be the James Urban on this team, and it's going to be T. Martin calling the plays from the end of the year. T. Martin's been here all year. They're not going to bring somebody off the street to run Greg Roman's playbook. It's going to be T. I see a lot of people freaking out on Twitter about this, but I kind of think Taggart's going to be like your David Culley guy, maybe doing what T had been doing. Thoughts, sir?
Okay. I mean, I was going to ask. I thought the Taggart guy, I thought that was for next season. I didn't think that was for this season. I thought that was for next season. So I didn't think that was for this season right now. I thought that was probably for next year.
Could be. But, he's also met with Dion in Colorado, and he also met with Jim Jim Harbaugh, shocker, in Michigan. So I think maybe they're just trying to promote him, get him in somewhere. It could just be a, hey, I'm vouching for my guy here. Bring on in, show us off. So, but yeah, man, I see people like just thinking he's going to come in and take over. And, I don't think there's.
Yeah, I am personally, I thought that was for next year. I didn't even know. I thought Greg Roman was actually going to finish the year out with us. And then, next year that was just us getting ready for, for his exit. I didn't think that would be for this season.
And it could be. It could be. I don't know. But he could be a candidate for next year. Bring him in this year. Let him learn a little bit.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So, but yeah, Jamil, great to have you. Let's get back to this tape. We have just seen some tremendous individual and team defense on this. Here's a 3rd and 1 for no gain. The Broncos use a ton of tight ends. They average about 2 tight ends per play, like every play. Similar to what the Steelers, by the way. Now the Steelers are a 2 tight end team. Now that Chase Claypool is out of town, might surprise people. But we're going to see a lot of this on Sunday against the Steelers. See all those bodies in the middle. And Broderick Washington is going to abuse a man, Jamil. This is the best way I could say. You got Matabike circled on the left, Jamil. You got Broderick Washington circled in the right. I want you to pay attention to Big Broderick here on the right on this play and what he does to this poor gentleman.
Oh, man.
Not to be outdone, let's take a look at 92 Matabike because he dominates his man. No linebackers necessary. 2 men. And see you later, Quinn Miners. A giraffe crush of many, the former center.
Oh, yeah. I remember. Wasn't he the guy that had like his stomach out or something like that?
That's the guy. Yeah. So it's always nice, though, Alec, when you can run a play and not need any linebackers. Like the very first 2 guys, one's beating a double team and one's beating a single team just ridiculously.
I feel like teams are asking to lose if they come out in 12 personnel, 2 tight ends. No, like you're going to make us have more linebackers on the field, which is our strength right now. That's silly. Like I know that they have no wide receivers. I know Sutton got hurt, but you gotta try to get us to bring our extra corners out. Like that's the only flaw.
Yep. So you're going to have 3 good receivers or throw a tight end in there to match up well with us because the more corners you get on the field, the better you are with the Ravens. If Kyle Hamilton's on the field, we're a better defense. Here's a 1st and 10 for a 2-yard gain. Again, Broderick Washington. Also, Adafi Owe doing a pretty nice job. Although I'd like to see Adafi handle the tight end a little better here, Jamil.
Yeah, I think he kind of is that that tight end, is that Tomlinson that used to play with us?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's him. So we know he's a good blocker, but he's still
very
a
good blocker.
Still a tight end, though, Jamil.
Yeah.
And Adafe gets held here. You can see and them pulling on him pretty well. He gets decent penetration, is still able to peek around the edge to set it. So Adafe's head, his helmet, is in the right place, which allows Murray to cut back. Let's watch Big Broderick again against 66. Not letting the offensive lineman get into his body, long arming him, finding the ball quickly, and finishing the play. So a ton of Broderick Washington, man, just a ton.
He's been a pleasant surprise.
What do you see on this play, man? JPP and Chuck Clark, both doing a good job. Let's check out JPP on the edge here. Reads it, takes on this puller, but is still able to keep his balance and make that play. Impressive balance there, Jamil.
Oh yeah, that's that's veteran football right there.
Yep, he gets low enough to where he minimizes that car crash,
Jamil. He kind of pushes the puller into the running back.
Yep.
Just a tad bit. He kind of threw the running back's balance off.
Yeah, because he knocks him back. Back. And then I love this. This is something I've been talking about more recently, Alec, is we seem to be – you can picture the Ravens edge setter like we saw Adafi Owe on that last play. Long arming somebody, forcing them to cut back. What I noticed, and I said this on Ken's show, Alec, is we seem to be asking our defensive ends to crash, to take on these pullers like this, and just letting our fast linebackers like Roquan, like Patrick Queen, come around to the outside and fill the edge instead of, them coming through the middle and then having somebody bounce it. In this case, though, Alec, it's Chuck Clark. You can see him creeping up there.
Yep, you're absolutely right. I've been noticing that too. It seems like a change of philosophy, so to speak. And the other thing I'll point out too with JPP is I've noticed this year, I feel like all the players are shedding off their blockers better than ever. They're able to engage with the blocker and then shed off and be able to make a play on the ball. And that's key to disrupting these plays.
Yeah, see, they're blitzing PQ again, using Patrick Queen to his strengths. And look how it just clogs everything up. JPP clogs everything up. And then, oh, by the way, you still got Roquan and Chuck Clark just flowing to the side, bro. Like, there's really nowhere to go. You're saying, look, Latavius Murray ain't fast enough to break nothing off today. We're clogging up this middle, and good luck dealing with Chuck Clark, Kyle Hamilton, Roquan, Patrick Queen, whoever is going to be flowing to that edge. 1st and 10, no gain on this one again. Kyle Hamilton come flying in and making a play. And this is part of the beauty of playing Kyle Hamilton at slot corner. You can see him lined up across number 9 here.
Yeah.
Is you can blitz him from the cornerback, Alec.
You can, and then he'll run right over that wide receiver who tries to get in his way. Look at that. Just the wide receiver almost tackles him.
Jamil, I want you to take a look at Roquan here in the second level and talk to me about what you see here.
He's really good at, it's not necessarily shedding blockers with Roquan. It's it's a word, but I'll just say dodge. Like, he can evade. Like, he just Euro steps through blockers, man. It's just untouched. Like, he does that a lot. I noticed him do it a lot in his debut game in New Orleans, where those couple of plays where he was when he tackled Alvin Kamara for the on the third down, the key third down. It was like third and 1 or something like that. He kind of evaded the block. Very similar to that, right? What we're seeing right here, just not even just letting the guy, he just bounced to the side and just jumps right back in front of the running back. It's super impressive. Yeah.
I was joking to our friend Dev Jamil, Dev Panchwa.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe it was MC, another friend of the show, that there are running backs that wish they had the lateral quickness, the jump step of Roquan.
Yeah, that's the perfect way to put it, man. He does have a really good jump step, but the way he could just jump and then jump right back in front of the running back is crazy.
Yeah, super slippery. And I love the fact that he had the trust in Stone to come up, and he played his assignment, and he knew with the two of them that, Latavius is going nowhere.
Right. If Roquan doesn't keep that inside contained, then Murray has a place to go. Right. But Roquan's going to fake him out to go to the outside and then cut it back in. Yeah. So then you have 2 players, one on each side of Murray. And you can see that up, freeze it right here. There you go. If Roquan would have busted to the right, Murray would have had a big, big old hole there.
Yeah.
Great job by Geno Stone, by the way, settling his feet. Yeah. Something that gets on my nerves when players like Brandon Stevens just fly by, bro, and they never settle their feet. Watch Geno, bro. I'm here. I don't need to go for no 8-yard loss and miss the tackle and leave the running back out. I'm just going to come up and settle my feet, man.
Geno is really good.
He's a really good player. No gain on this one. Again, this is the Justin Houston show. So he gets a little love. Roquan, of course, doing his thing. Justin Houston, that's what you're supposed to do with the tight end, Jamil. That's Eric Tomlinson again.
Yeah.
Don't play with this, man. You're a defensive end.
Yeah.
Just move him out the way, man. Use your hands. Justin Houston is he's a natural with hand fighting, getting guys. His counter, he has really, really good hands.
I love the way Roquan steps up on this play. If you want to watch Roquan, who's highlighted, and Patrick Queen next to him, you can see Queen's not able to sidestep his double team. He gets knocked out of there. But Roquan would be there to make the tackle if Justin Houston doesn't make it. If Houston just is able to hold the edge but can't come off, Roquan's right there for a tackle to loss. Here we go again, guys. We got a couple more plays. 1 yard loss. This is that sweep. There's Kyle Hamilton, and there is the range of Mr. Roquan Smith. Sideline to sideline. Looks like I also have Bowser highlighted here. As you can see him. Yeah, nice job by Bowser stringing out that play as well. Glad that I caught that. We'll pause it here. So you got Kyle Hamilton to the left. Bowser is the edge setter here on the weak side, actually playing rush linebacker. And then you have Roquan right there, number 18. So let's watch Mr. Kyle Hamilton first. We'll go left to right. See how Kyle plays this. See how quickly he's able to diagnose it. He was going to follow the back, but immediately bails and recognizes the run here.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what we saw all week too from him, and I mean, we've seen it for a couple weeks now too, where he's actually been doing a lot of diagnosing of plays, a lot of communication pre-snap, and you'll see him like from the opposite side of the field get involved in a play, chasing it down. So the guy has a high motor and a high football IQ.
Yeah, I mean, he's following 89 here for a second, Jamil, but as soon as he sees 89 is going to block Tyus, he goes right into run game mode and is able to escape. And again, just, I don't even know if the wide receiver number 12 lined up at running back is going to be able to turn if he falls after Hamilton reaches him.
Yeah, for sure. Hamilton, we missed him, man. We missed him big time. So glad to have Hamilton back. I love Kyle Hamilton, bro. I love Kyle Hamilton. We missed him in that that Jaguars game big time.
Yeah.
And
you
then
win that game with him.
Yeah.
For sure. Undeniably.
And then Roquan, not a false step in the building. Watch his ability to read this. Not one false step.
Untouched too.
Yeah, well, there's no way you're going to be able to get to him, bro. He's moving with the play right away. And if Roquan wants to cut this thing up in a hole, he could too. So he's there. There's really nowhere for you to run, nowhere to hide from Roquan Smith. So, dude, he almost gets out of the freaking frame. He's moving so fast. Man. Okay, so there we go, fellas. That was the film study. Quick look at this defense. It's just, Jamil, it's a bunch of guys. It's not just one. It's not just Roquan. It's some good old-fashioned butt kicking up front and some tough-nosed defenders. Chuck Clark had a bunch of them. I'm surprised he wasn't highlighted for them. Just a lot of good tacklers on this team, especially with Kyle Hamilton on the field too.
Yeah, definitely, man. Like I said, I'm excited and I'm really happy to have Kyle Hamilton back. We missed him. We missed him big time. Like Alex said, he's done a fascinating job with diagnosing plays. I can remember in the Panthers game where he called out a screen for Marlon Humphrey. He's calling out screens. He's diagnosing things. He's come along very, very well. Very well.
Yep. Everybody's playing well, and Jamil, Alec, we're going to need every bit of run defense we can get. I think our pass defense is pretty darn good too, especially when we're playing a team like we're playing this week. The Steelers use a lot of tight ends. We can match up. We'll definitely have Hamilton on the field a lot. We got safeties for days. It's that third cornerback, that quick cornerback that really is holding us back from being a complete defense right now, Alec.
It is, and it'll be troubling in the playoffs because that's you're going to run into teams that have the personnel to challenge us. So this is where we need to grow and rise to that occasion because it's going to happen eventually. It's going to happen. It might not happen in the regular season. It might happen against Cincinnati at the end, but we need to be able to figure that out. It doesn't sound like Jalen Arbor-Davis is coming back this year based on Harbaugh's comments. And not that I think anyone thought he was going to be the savior, but he's not even on the table. So I think, they can't rest on the Kyle Hamilton, fixing the problem. Obviously he makes things better, but we got to figure out how to handle a 4 wide receiver look if, a team's able to line up with 4 actually competent wide receivers. And I think guys like Buffalo can do that to us. So
right.
That's all. I'm not saying that they can't figure it out. And I think that this defense is so darn good otherwise that you might be able to cover for it. That's the thing we haven't really seen yet. If Kyle Hamilton is on the field and then you have that third quarter come out, isn't as bad because the talent level of the other 10 players is so high. It might be all right.
For me, it's about the second matchup, Jamil. We can put Marlowe on whoever we want. But if there's a guy out there that, they have two other guys, say, we could put Kyle on one, but like, who do you put on the other? If it's a smaller guy, you put Kyle on the big guy, of course, because he's tall.
Yeah.
I'm with Brain over Braun. The best cornerback play I've seen out of anybody else has been Pepe. Ardarius really didn't get much of a chance this week. And the one play that he was targeted, he was beat really badly. Chuck Clark came over and forced Russell Wilson to throw a bad one, or else Chuck Clark would have had an interception. Great play by Chuck Clark. But, I never get to see we don't get to see what happens at practice, Jameel. But
Yeah.
like, Pepe has been in there. I haven't felt like he's been overmatched, like he's been beaten by this much, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree. Like I know from the Patriots game, I remember I know that's a little while back, but I could say that was maybe the last time I really seen a lot of action from Pepe, where he's playing a ton of snaps. That was he was in the slot a lot in that game, and he was always right there, like you said. Like the plays, like yes, the guy might have made the catch, but he was always right there. And I like his energy. He's fiery. He brings that competitiveness with him. He kind of reminds me of a younger version of Marcus Peters. Honestly, that's who he reminds me of. I love the fiery guys. I would love to see Pepe get on the field this week, and in the foreseeable future, weeks upon that time, just get the guy in there, man. Let him play around, let him fly around, make some plays. That's how I feel, personally.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I thought, Alec, I'll go to you on this. It was troubling that they just brought Ardarius up and decided to make Pepe a healthy inactive. Like, if you're going to spend one of your practice squad elevations to get Ardarius a chance, that tells me that you're not real happy with what you've been seeing in Pepe, and that disappoints me, Alec.
Disappoints me too. Yeah, I think I agree with Brian over Broad here, because I too think that Pepe is going to be the best option going forward. I've seen the most out of him as well, and they just need to. I don't know. They need to find him some chances. They need to find him an opportunity to play, and him getting healthy scratch is not the. That's not the again. It's getting back to we need to figure this out for the postseason, and I'm just not convinced it's going to be Ardarius. I think it might be Pepe, and we need to give him the chance.
Going back to the linebackers, Baltimore Don C talking about how Roquan unlocked Patrick Queen. They're fun to watch. Glad they signed him. Is a great guy. And Yolanda's in there. She agrees. PQ is playing much better from after acquiring Roquan. There's got to be something to that, because we saw the same thing, Jameel, if you remember, when Josh Bynes came in and settled everything down. It's just having a linebacker, a steady hand next to PQ to allow PQ to be his best self.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, just to add a little context to that, I think it's been since like week 4 or week 5, maybe, that PQ has actually been playing, the football we're seeing now, but he definitely took it up a notch. It's like when your counterpart is just motivating you so much to be the best you, it's like your best friend. He's making all of his jump shots. You want to make all of your jump shots. You want to do exactly what your counterpart is doing. If he's making plays, flying around, making tackles and things of that nature, you want to do the same thing. It's been fun to watch Roquan and Patrick Queen. I swear it has. It's been great, man. I'm not gonna lie. Patrick Queen is playing like that linebacker we all wanted him to play like. And Roquan is Roquan.
Yeah, I hope we get to see him next year. I hope that they find a way to keep everybody. And by everybody, I mean Lamar and Roquan. Marcus Peters, I got to add him in too, man. Got to find a way to keep him. So we get into this Steelers game. But Jameel, missed you at the beginning. We were just talking about. I kind of let loose a little on Greg Roman. And Alex, I never seen you this down. I'm like, Jameel, you know how I feel about the offensive coordinator. It's not as that the system is bad. It's just the way he calls the plays. Something that drives me crazy. I've been wanting them to move on, or them to make a change for 2 years now. But now that he's interviewed with Stanford, it's like relevant again. I don't complain about it every day, bro. That's just not. It just doesn't do anybody any good. But we saw once again that when Tyler Huntley came in, the offense was completely different. We didn't run the play clock down to 0. It was 3-step drop type timing, all these quick throws, extension of the running game, really no hope of getting anything downfield. So it does limit the offense, even though it looks much, much different.
Yeah. Me personally, I actually like that offense where it's kind of like the dink and dunk. I hope sometime in the future, whenever Lamar gets back and healthy, that we can implement that a little bit more in our offense, because I think it makes the defense play honest. If you're dinking and dunking, you're throwing these out routes, you're keeping everything in front. That's going to make defenses play up a little bit more, opposed to them just keeping their eyes on 89 and 8. If you're hitting 5-yard out routes with Duvernay and Demarcus Robinson, 5 yards, all it takes is 2 5-yard plays to get you a first down. So if you keep hitting those on one side, hit it on another side, hit a curl route, in the slot or something like that, just different routes to get the defense to play a little bit up. And that's where you can start pushing the ball down the field. If you're not threatening the defense intermediate or short, they have no reason to play up. They're just going to, keep their eyes on 8 and 89, and they're going to play, make sure nothing gets behind them. So I think I like the short game a lot. I just feel like they need to implement it more with Lamar Jackson. I think I see it a lot with Tyler, and I know that has a lot to do with his down the field work. But I feel like with our starting quarterback, that offense needs to be implemented like right now.
Well, and this part what got me upset before he got here is that we saw the same stuff last year.
Yeah.
Tyler came in, quick passes. I agree. I wish Lamar was afforded some of these throws, loosen up the defense, keep them off balance. Then you hit them with the run. Then you got Lamar extended plays in him with a deep shot. Nothing they can do. But what happened this year? Nothing. It was the same old asking Lamar to be a superior. So I ain't going to sit up here and be a fool. You fooled me once. No shame on. It's a shame on you, Greg Roman, because when Lamar comes back, I guarantee you all that stuff that you did with Tyler Huntley is going to go right back out the window, just like it did at the start of this year. And that's why, part of what frustrates the heck out of me about Greg Roman. I'm hoping, Jamil, now I'm gonna give you a little bit of optimism here, sir. I want to get your thoughts on this. T. Martin, you're not if Groman leaves, T. Martin's not going to bring in some kind of new system. It's too damn late for all that. He's going to pretty much call Greg Roman's system, make a tweak here or there. I'm actually kind of excited. Like, that's what gets me optimistic, is that because I never thought his playbook was the reason. It was the way he calls the games. Get like if me and you was calling the same offense, be like, do this, do that. T. Martin's in there. He knows his jump. He's got a good rhythm for play calling from what everybody says. Maybe that is like a key to really get us kickstarted once Lamar comes back, man.
I agree. I think, like I said, like me and you both agree on this, right? You put Lamar in that situation where he's throwing the same throws that Tyler Huntley is throwing, quick hitches and things of that nature, right? Now teams have to play up, and they still have to keep their eyes on Lamar because his ability to extend plays, and he can kill you with his legs. Now you have to play up. Then you could just throw in your 36, 35-year-old speedster in there and tell him to, take him up top one time. And now you have something down the field. And then you, like I said, you have your guys like Duvernay, Demarcus Robinson, Prochet, your underneath guys, right? And then you have your tight end one who can, threaten over in the middle of the field. That's where he feasts. That's where he makes most of his plays, in the middle of the field. So if you keep bunching everything, in the middle, and then you trying to get downfield, you got to space it out. Patrick Ricard played 35% of the snaps. That's something I want to see more while Lamar's at quarterback week in and week out. I don't want to see Patrick Ricard on the field. He's playing 68 to 70% of the time, the snaps. And it's no Patrick Ricard is a good player. Not saying that he's not good, but for the sake of how we want this offense to go forward and how we want this offense to look in the future, they need to limit his snaps. He needs to play, if we're, screens and stuff like that. I think he's really good at blocking. So a lot of the plays he's in, if you want to use him to block, cool. But having 3 receivers on the field like we did with Tyler Huntley, Demarcus Robinson played 70% of the time. Duvernay played 91% of the time. Like this is what offenses is supposed to look like in this era of football.
Ah, Jamil, I wish you were here to give you a hug, man. Oh, this is like a virtual hug, bro. Oh yeah, bro. Let's do the. Oh, yeah, one of them. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hey, you know who else I want to give a bro hug to?
Who's that?
Downtown, bro. He's coming from Bailey Got Beats.
Okay.
Super chat donation, man. Support the live streams, even though I usually watch them afterwards. Glad to be here, Ravens flock. Keep up the great work, Bailey. I'm glad that I know you're a hardworking person, bro. I'm glad that you're here live and commenting and giving in. Bailey's got a great sense of humor. That's kind of what I like about Bailey Got Beats. Still hasn't sent me any beats. You can send them to jasonj8132@gmail.com. I will receive said beats, Bailey, and I'll use them for the highlight videos. But Bailey, thank you, man. It's just beautiful to see. And I'm just glad that you're part of the family, man. It's just excellent. Jamil, you believe that stuff, man?
You said, do I believe what?
I mean, people they just like come and donate to the chat.
Hey,
man.
look, man, it's a blessing, man, because people. That's just people with good hearts, man. They enjoy watching. It always shocked me how people love watching other people talk about football. Like, because I love watching people talk about football. So when I see other people that enjoy it just as much as me, it's a blessing. And just people who are willing to donate and that's their time too, just watching. People got they have lives and they children and families and things like that. So just donating, not just money and their time is very, very, very cherished.
Yeah, man. It keeps a company, man. The comments and everything are the best part of doing this. I love it. Yeah. So let's get to the Steelers game. We got some frustrations vented out and everything. Got to see a different side of me tonight. Maybe you haven't before. Ravens Steelers week. Now a couple of notes here. The Ravens have lost 4 in a row to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I'm thinking, all right, that's 2 games last year in 2021. That's the 2 games in 2020, the COVID year. So we haven't beaten them since 2019. Was it Lamar? No. I think that was Robert Griffin in week 18. Alec, is that accurate?
Yeah, man. It's been a crazy ride. It's been a real crazy ride with the way it's played out with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The fact that they've evaded Lamar a couple times. They have beaten us now 4 times. I tell you that game 2 in the rain, last game of the season, it almost looked like the Ravens were going to win that thing. And then it didn't work out. I didn't realize it until it was brought up. And now I'm like, man, this team's going to be so focused to win this game. And I think they can pull it off.
Nice. So, Jamil, going to this Ravens offense at the top, bro, we've been in the top 10 all year. We were in top 5, I think, for a while. Now we're down to 12th, 23.8 points per game. Steelers defense, not very good. They're allowing 23 plus a game. If I told you today, Jamil, look, we're averaging 23 a game. Pittsburgh's giving up 23 a game. You can take it right now. The Ravens scored 23 on Sunday. Would you take it?
And me not having any knowledge of anything. Yep. Oh yeah, I would. If I didn't have any knowledge of, I would like, okay, the Steelers are allowing 23. We're averaging 23, so we're easily going to score 23. Like that's.
Would you take it now though? If I said, Jamil, I won't tell you how much Pittsburgh's going to score. The final score is going to have Ravens 23 in it. Would you take it?
No, not just because of what I've been seeing. No, I wouldn't.
You want more?
Yeah, I mean, I would take, if you're asking me would I accept it, yes. But do I think we're going to score 23 or would I accept the 23? I would accept the 23 points, absolutely.
Okay, that's what I'm getting at. Like, yeah. If I told you the Ravens were going to score 23, would you say cool?
Heck, yes, absolutely.
All right, Alec, would you take 23 points if I could guarantee it on Sunday?
I think so, because I don't see us giving up 22 points. This defense ain't doing it.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. So the Ravens rush offense, Still up there, 157 yards a game, 5.2 second in the AFC or in the NFL rather. Steelers defense though is a good one. They're only allowing a little over 100 yards a game. They are fifth, averaging only 4.1 yards per carry. Jameel, this is a Steelers team with Cam Hayward. Alaulau is in there. Just always kind of tough against the run. And really, we saw the read option disappear when Lamar headed out. I'm wondering if they're going to bring that back, but we may need to empty out the running playbook to get some efficiency against the Steelers team.
I agree. I think stretch the field, try to run out of, try to run out of 11 personnel a little bit more instead of keeping it so condensed. Try to get more smaller bodies on the field and let Gus kind of run out of that, that 11 personnel look. Some inside runs, because the more you condense the field and the more bodies the Steelers can get on the field, bigger guys, they're gonna. Yeah, it's not much happening there against their run defense. It's not much happening. So I would like to see us spread the field out horizontally a little bit, not necessarily run horizontally, but just get more, like I said, more speed on the field, more, and force them to bring more, DBs on the field. Opposed to
I really think it suits our backs a lot when we spread it out and run out of spread.
Exactly.
Because you got a lighter box. You got Gus Edwards running in a lighter box.
Mm-hmm.
All the reasons you see. Alec, I'll kick it to you on this. JK's been practicing for what? A few weeks now? What do you think the chances are we see JK on Sunday?
37%. But I want to bring up Shrimp Trawler's mention here of if we beat the Steelers last year, we don't get Kyle Hamilton. That's a great point, and I'm appreciative of that.
Ooh.
Because I mean that was the thing too. It would have been like a 3 or 4 pick swing if we had won that game, and we would have made the playoffs. So it was pretty valuable. I mean, maybe we don't get a Jabbo. I mean, this could really have trickled all the way down the line. So that's a really good point.
Wow.
But yeah, about JK, man, like I was saying on our show, like he could be a nice shot in the arm for this offense, particularly with Lamar out against this team. But I just think I think he's going to take the extra week. I think they're going to do the full ramp up.
I kind of feel that way too, Jameel. Gus, though, I would like to see him get as much involved as he can because it's getting this any kind of run game here against the Steelers is going to be big because they are good against the run. They do, you got Terrell Edmonds screaming off the edge. You got a lot of big bodies in there. I noticed they're rotating a little bit more than they have in the past. So you got more fresh guys in there. And the Ravens, I don't think that we've been running the ball up to our capabilities when it comes to the running back. This Sunday, obviously, we were held down a little bit. And then even if you think back to Jacksonville, a lot of those yards, Jameel, were from Lamar.
Yeah, that's kind of how it's been for, majority of the season. I mean, the running backs will kind of have like their little moments, a game here, a game there. But for the most part throughout the season, it's really just been consistently Lamar who's been driving this running game. And, the main reason why the numbers look the way they do.
So, it's kind of surprising to me, though, Alec. Usually when you see a bad offense, and the Steelers have a bad offense that we'll get to, usually the rushing numbers, their rush defense is bad because teams have the lead and they keep running the ball down the throat. With this Steelers team, it's the opposite. Even though they're behind a lot, even though their offense can't score, the other teams can't run out the clock on them. As a matter of fact, the Steelers pass defense giving up 28th in yards allowed per game, 26th in yards per attempt allowed, and they only have 23 sacks, 24th in sacks, despite having T.J. Watt back. T.J. Watt has been back. This will be his 5th game back. He's got a half sack. So the Steelers aren't getting any pressure on you, and you're able to shred them throughout the air, even though you have the lead, bro. You'd think that they'd be giving up a bunch of rushing yards.
Yeah, you would. That's pretty damning for their pass defense for sure. And I think that's another reason to kind of consider if they will bring JK back for this week. When you think about it, that means I think if you bring in JK, that means that you deactivate Hill. And I don't know if there's that big of a difference when you consider this Steelers run defense and how good they are. If we're going to be, you might not want to rush him back, is what I'm getting at for this kind of game. I think maybe we just focus on the passing downs. We focus on just trying to do the short passing game and make that kind of an element of our offense rather than try and run down their throats. Just try to throw high percentage passes that also keep the clock running.
Gotcha, and I agree with that. But you know what, Jameel? I kind of disagree with Alec. I think that if JK and Gus are healthy, it might be Kenyon Drake that's deactivated because I think Justice Hill has like a role, one special team.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point.
And as a third down back. What's your thoughts on that, Jameel?
It's like, would the Ravens go in the game with 4 running backs active though? You don't think they will? For me, Kenyon Drake does seem like the obvious choice because of Justice Hill, his special teams ability. So yeah, Kenyon Drake does seem like the obvious choice, but I just don't think JK is. I don't think he's playing this week. Yeah,
fair enough. So another thing I'd like to see in this passing game, Alec, is Charlie Kolar get his chance. You have Nick Boyle who's playing like 10 snaps a game. If you need an extra offensive lineman, you got a guy like Fa'al Lele or Ben Cleveland. You can stick on the end to do those assignments if you want an extra body on the field. So I would love to see Charlie Kolar get 10 snaps that Nick Boyle is having in the game. What are the odds that Charlie Kolar gets a shot?
2. I mean, dude, they're not even activating Ojabo. Can I complain about that yet? Are we at that part of the show?
No, we're not. We're not. We're still in the offense.
I know. I'm just saying, like, I mean, that's just wishful thinking, bro. Like, I would love it too, though, because like we drafted Kolar ahead of Likely. Now, I'm not saying that the Ravens are good at this. They always draft the better tight end second. We know that this is the case, but and I like Likely a lot in the process over Kolar, but like still, I'd like to see him. Usually the second fiddle isn't that bad either. Let's be honest, what was his name?
Hayden Hurst and Ed Dixon.
Dixon. Yeah, I was like, it's not Dickerson, it's Dixon. Yeah, so that guy had a long career. Like even though he wasn't the number one guy here in Baltimore, he had to move on. He still had a long career. So like, yeah. Anyways, we got to see this Kolar guy. We got to see a job. Like, what are they doing? Get him out there.
So are you as pessimistic as Alec? I'm not going to get my way, am I, Jameel? I'm not going to get to see Charlie Kolar get 10 steps instead of Nick Boyle, am I?
I'm not as pessimistic. I will say I believe we see Charlie Kolar before we see David Ojabo. I think.
Ooh.
And the reason why, because of this one reason. I can see them deactivating Nick Boyle before I see them deactivating any of the outside linebackers.
That's fair.
I can see Nick Boyle being a healthy scratch. He had plenty of games where he was a healthy scratch, right? And then he had games where he was active and he didn't play a snap at all. So I can see Nick Boyle being a healthy scratch just to get Kolar on the field. I'm having a hard time picking someone out of that outside linebacker room, maybe a Malik Harrison if they want to, because I think they use him sometimes at the Sam or, at the outside linebacker spot. If they want to deactivate him, Malik Harrison for a game to maybe get a job on the field, maybe. But if we're just, for me, Kolar, I think is likely we see him first before we see Ojabo. Just for
it's hard to argue with that, man, because you said, we'll get to the defense in a second, but Harbaugh made sure he was asked and clarified that they will not deactivate a special teams guy. Talked about that with Ken on his show this week. So, deactivating Malik, they're not doing that either because he's a core special teams guy.
Right. Oh, man.
They're not going to deactivate Christian Welch because he's a core special teams guy.
But he's going to be right.
Yeah, but they got 20 other linebackers that they're going to evacuate.
I don't know if you know this. Christian Welch, 6'3", 242. Our boy Ojabo, 6'4", 249. Basically the same body. They could do a little swapperoo.
All right. Yeah, let's move on to the defense, man. I just can't even get in the mood to joke, dude. I'll just be honest with you. Like, I'm looking for practical solutions to get somebody we spent the 45th or 44th overall pick on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I think it's practical. That's the thing. Like, are we like? I know it's not what Harbaugh would do. I'm just saying, like, I think it's pretty practical to be like, all right, Christian, take a week. Let's go Jabo in there. Like, come on, man. This is ridiculous.
Jamil, do you have something?
For me, outside linebacker, man, I feel like with Harbs, he made it clear. Like if it's a numbers thing, it's a numbers thing, man. So if I can't see, last show I had a solution. I said maybe Brent Urban and you plug JPP in at the defensive end spot and let JPP play the role of Brent Urban. That way you could free up a spot to get a Jabo on the field and let him just, you're pretty much just switching. So you're putting JPP at defensive end to take Brent Urban's spot, and you have a Jabo replace JPP's role at the edge, or, Houston, whomever is replacing JPP. But that's a way that you can get a Jabo on the field. But I was hoping they would have done it last week. They haven't done it. I don't know if they'll do it this week, but I'm having a hard time finding somebody to, make a healthy scratch.
And now did you take my idea? Was because I've been on that train too. I've been on that train, but yeah, Brent Urban, where I said give Adafe a week off and let him reset if he's only going to play 20 snaps a week. But yeah, it's just frustrating that we have two assets there who could really help us. I think Alec, when it comes to Ajabo, I think he's could potentially be our second best pass rusher by far. Because he's light on his feet. He's got the bag of tricks. I think he forced 4 or 5 fumbles this last year. If you have time to watch his highlights, do it. He's got a nose for the football. He'll punch the ball out of the quarterback. He's got much better bend than a guy like Adafio Way. He's much lighter on his feet. If you overset, he'll cross you up or spin and get to the inside really quick. And if he can give you that little hesitation, Alec, go around the edge and bend, you can't even get a hand on him. So when I look at Adafio Way, who's a straight ahead power rusher, when I look at Tyus Bowser, more of a power rusher, when I look at JPP, once again, more of a power rusher, Ajabo's that switch up that I think, much like Justin Houston, who's the ultimate technician. He's not, of course, Justin Houston. He hasn't been playing football that long, but he's got the kind of quickness that can beat you in ways that the guys that we are rushing the passer with on the outside can't.
I'm sold. Like, I mean, if Ojabo didn't get hurt, he would have been picked likely in the top 15, right? So Owe wasn't picked until 31. I mean, it's reasonable to think like that guy could have more, a better set of traits. And I just think like they have to find a way. It's negligent. Like he's definitely a better player than somebody that they have activated. And you just because you're telling me that the other person has a role, like I cannot be convinced that you can't figure out a way to shuffle it up so that role is taken over by somebody else. Like these are all competent players that can do it. They've all played special teams at one point in their career. Like I am not convinced. Like do better. Like you got to find a way.
So I mean, it's crazy, man. We had to vent a little bit tonight. Let's get back to the game for a second, man. The Steelers' offense, almost as bad as Denver's, only averaging 17.8 points per game, 28th. The Ravens' defense is now a top 10 defense in points allowed, 19.7 points a game. That number just keeps going down and down and down. When I look at this Ravens team, Jamil, it's a 2 tight end team. They traded Chase Claypool and Zach Gentry, you may know, is a blocking tight end. With Deontay Johnson led their team in snaps. Second was Zach Gentry over Freiermuth, over Pickens, over all those guys. So what they're going to do is they're going to have a blocking tight end on the field along with Freiermuth, along with Pickens, along with Deontay Johnson. That's going to be their skill set. Now, this has helped them, Jamil. In their first 7 games, they were only averaging about 88 yards a game rushing. 88 a game rushing their first 7. Their last 5, they've about doubled that. They're at 157.8 yards rushing. So traded Claypool, added the tight end, went from about 90 yards rushing the game to 160 yards rushing the game. Is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay. For me, the Steelers offense, they it's evident that they've been struggling. It's very it's obvious. Their last game versus the what was that Monday night? The last time I saw a Steelers game was against the Colts. They didn't look as bad because I don't really watch the Steelers games like that. They didn't look as bad. Kenny Pickett kind of was making some good throws to George Pickens, but from a run standpoint, they have like three guys. They have Najee, Benny Snell, and they have another guy, McFarland or something like that. He's kind of really shifty and fast. They kind of throw him in there to get the speed going, and then they got Benny Snell, who's that hard-nosed runner like our Gus Edwards, pretty much. But yeah, I mean the Steelers offense, like you said, man, there's nothing there for me to be like really worried about.
So they used Jalen Warren as the other back, Alec. Might have seen him on your fantasy football waiver wire.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, there's really not. It's funny. It's like they committed to running the ball midway through the season, and it's worked for them.
Yeah, the thing with the Steelers is if you look at like the Kenny Pickett line, it looks real bad because he has 4 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. But those 8 interceptions are really front loaded his first couple of games. So he's definitely been playing better the last few weeks. That being said, like here's my question I raised to the panel. If you need a win this week, don't consider opponent. Just say, would you want Russell Wilson or would you want Kenny Pickett?
I don't know. After what I saw last week, I would take that off. I would play that team again. I'll be like, look, if we can play the Broncos offense again this week.
No, I'm saying, well, that's what I'm saying. I think it's a tough call between the current state of Russell Wilson and Kenny Pickett as far as which quarterback you pick. But I think the offensive weapons for the Steelers are much better than the weapons that are currently healthy and active for the Broncos. So I could see, and also the offensive line's been on the ascendancy. It's been the same guys the whole time. So I could see this offense being a harder stop than the Broncos were. And I do think they have weapons. I mean, is Ravens Twitter going to melt down because of George Pickens the second he steps to the field? Like they might. It might be what ends Twitter. Elon Musk better have all hands on deck.
Yeah, Jameel, I don't know about you, bro, but I would definitely take that Bronco. I would rather play that Bronco.
Yeah. Oh no. We're comparing them to the Broncos. I would definitely play. I would want to play the Broncos again, absolutely. Before I play the Steelers, and just because it's the Steelers,
that too, yeah.
We can't forget it's a rivalry game. I don't, and it doesn't really, beyond the stats, beyond all of the fancy numbers and things of that nature, it's the Steelers Ravens rivalry game. I would pick the Broncos every day and twice on Sunday.
There you go. So the Steelers rush offense, we mentioned, it's a little deceiving. They're right now they're middle of the pack, a little below the pack, but their last 5 they've been averaging about 160 on the ground. Ravens rush defense, though, when you look at the stats across the NFL, Alec, it's San Francisco 49ers number 1, the Ravens number 2, and they're definitely the top 2 by a good amount.
Yeah, there's a chasm.
We did a full film study on this Ravens run defense. Not much to say that's not good.
Oh yeah, for sure. And some haters will point at the pass defense and be like, "Oh, look, it's 25th in the league. That's why no one runs. It's a volume thing. It's not a volume thing, man. Like watch our film. This run defense is suffocating. Like, do not try to run on us. Like, it's not going to work. I don't care who you are. Like, it's not going to work. We're too darn sound in our scheme. We're too loaded at the front there. Like, you will not pass us. Like, it just ain't happening. And the pass defense is a bit exaggerated. I still think it's a bit exaggerated. You got us trying to defend these leads. The teams get more aggressive. And I think that it's just tough, man. Like people always complain about like the 4-down football and like how the Ravens defense falters. It's like, that's just hard. It's hard. It's extra down. Like it's a lot harder in that situation to stop things. Not saying that I'm not trying to give them excuses. I'm just being honest. Like You're telling me I got 4 chances to do the same thing I need to do with 3? Seems like a better opportunity for me.
Yeah. So with this Steelers running game, Najee Harris, Jameel, obviously a very talented back. Uh, I feel like the Steelers aren't looking for much in this run game. They just need to get something going to give them some confidence and to take some pressure off of their rookie.
Yeah, for sure. They're going to use Najee. They're going to, especially if he's healthy. I believe he's healthy now. I know he had like an oblique abdomen injury or something like that, but they're going to rely on Najee Harris. They're going to use him out the backfield to catch passes because he's a very good, receiving back as well. Even though his size could be deceiving, he's a very good receiving back. He's been a good receiving back since college, so they're going to rely on him heavy. And like I said, they're going to use they're going to use their other backs as well, just to take the pressure off of Kenny Pickett. They're going to try. And I even think that they may even, they may look at that pass defense, Ravens pass defense number and say, Kenny Pickett, we may can, get us a couple shots here and there against that pass defense. Let's try it out. Let's get George Pickens one-on-one with, a Marcus Peters, and let's, try to throw him a deep ball or something, or a back shoulder, thing. They may try their hand. That's just how I look. And one thing I also want to say really quick, I do think the pass defense number is a bit deceiving still. And I think we have Tua to thank for that. That Miami Dolphins game really killed us.
We do.
That's why that number is still the way it is.
You know what's funny? We can thank our old friend Joe Flacco for that garbage time touchdown to make it 20-3 to 20-9. We can thank who else are we thanking here in the meaningless touchdown category?
Mac Jones kind of did too.
Tom Brady came down and got one so he could kick the onside kick. New Orleans, we can thank them for their touchdown on their very last drive. So there are some misleading things about the defense, but when you blew one in Jacksonville, they kind of asked for the scrutiny, Jameel.
Oh, yeah. Jacksonville, definitely. That was on up. They was marching up and down the field. There's nothing I could say about that. I mean, they were literally picking on guys, not Marlowe, but the other. I'm just mention it.
Yeah, let's not do that. Let's not throw our guy under the bus there, because he's had a good year aside from a couple of games. So we got a comment here. Alec, you go first, buddy. Exactly. Squealers' offense is just as bad as Russell. They've just been able to run the last couple of games, so they think they can run. Trust me, I live here beyond enemy lines. They suck on offense. Brandon DeShields, bring in the pain. Thank you, Brandon. So, man, hey, we're gonna have to trust our viewers here, Alec. This resurgent for the Steelers is from behind enemy lines. Doesn't look impressive to Brandon.
They aren't scoring touchdowns, and I know the Ravens have been struggling to score touchdowns too, but not quite as badly. So that's a big piece of it. And I think to kind of go with to the next thing that Bailey got Beats brought up about Huntley and his skill set. I think that's the thing. You look at this offense, I don't think they're going to be high flying as far as the Steelers go. So I think the plan for Huntley is going to be to try to orchestrate drives like that last one. And I think because we have that backup quarterback available, I would think that we're going to have a little bit more opportunity for him to use his legs, because they started leaning on him at the end. They're like, all right, go win it by any means that's necessary now. Go run if you have to. We'll call a keeper one for you, or at least an option play that he chose to keep, and things like that. So I think that opened up a part of the offense that we need with Huntley in the game in order to be successful. So I think it'll be available all game long, and that'll change the tide.
All right, Jameel, up to you. Do you think that Huntley can beat the Steelers with his skill set?
Oh, man. Yes, I do. I do think he can beat the Steelers. It's going to be, if he does, there's going to be a whole nother can of worms that's going to open up.
Oh, God.
We don't have to go into details on the show here, but I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about. We'll see it on Twitter. But I do think Huntley, with his skill, I'll say with his skill set, along with the way the offense is ran with him at quarterback, yes, I do.
Bailey, I do. I'm not a prediction guy, but I decided to throw one out there this week to try to shake things up. You may notice, Bailey, I shaved the beard. No Shave November is over. Kept the same sweatshirt from last week because it's a winning streak, but I did have to shave the beard. So my prediction is the Ravens get a touchdown, and to that 7, they add 4 field goals to put them, or excuse me, 3 field goals, 12 points to put them at 19. The Steelers end up at 13. 19-13 is my prediction here. So yeah, that's 4 field goals for you math majors out there. 19-13 Ravens. I think they can beat them. I think they move the ball pretty well on the Steelers. It's just going to be dink and dunk time, dink and dunk time. Steelers cornerbacks, their secondary isn't great. They do have Minka Fitzpatrick. You're talking about a free safety there. I don't think the Ravens will test them deep. But more importantly, this is the kind of offense that the Steelers have that the Ravens can really take it to. So, yes, this isn't like we're playing the Chiefs or the Bills. If, I wouldn't expect to win those games, but I do. I predict the Ravens to beat the Steelers with Tyler Huntley this week, Alec.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's interesting that Vegas does it. They're currently favoring Pittsburgh by 2.5 points. And I just don't see it. I know that their defense ain't that bad. I know that their offense has some skill weapons, but our defense is just too good. I think the industry in general is sleeping on this Ravens defense and how actually good they are now. And they're only going to get better in theory. Again, if they can stay ahead of this injury trend, well, we got Williams coming back, man. It's going to be great.
So Z the Beast is almost with me here. What did I say? 19-13, C to B 16-13 Ravens. So I like that. And also, here we go. This one for you, Jameel. I feel like it's going to be a lot of sacks for the Steelers. It seems Daniel Falele doesn't realize how big he is and to impose himself if he's playing this week. Huntley can win games, but Z's saying about 63% chance we win.
I agree. I agree. I think Daniel Falele, with time, he'll come around. He's a rookie. He's a young guy. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on him to be the guy right now. I'm just, hopefully Stanley, who was a full participant today, hopefully he plays. So we'll have him on the left. But the scary thing is TJ Watt tends to line up over the right tackle, which is Morgan Moses. Sheesh. So when you say a lot of sacks, I think I know Watt hasn't really done much, and the Steelers haven't done much as a football team from the sack standpoint, because I think it said they were 24th or something like that, ranked 24th.
Yeah, they're down there in sacks.
Yeah, so they're not really, but our line tends to our team always tends to give a team their best. So if the Steelers are struggling at getting sacks, they'll have their coming out party against us. That's just what the Ravens do. We allow people to do their absolute best where they are not thriving. The area that they don't thrive in, they'll look good against us. So I think I kind of agree a little bit.
All right. See, yeah, JJ Watt or TJ Watt, excuse me, only has a half sack in these 4 games. So yeah, Jameel saying with our luck, the way it's been going recently, maybe he gets going. But yeah, they haven't been getting sacks, which kind of surprised me. It's not very un-Steelers like. And you look at the pass yards they allowed. They're getting plenty of chances to get them. You know what I mean? Teams are throwing on them. So you figure they get some sacks in there, and they're just not getting it. Their cornerbacks aren't stepping up. We got private photos on this site from Girls 69 XYZ. I guess I got to take that off the screen. This is where we need a moderator, Jameel.
Yeah, we do.
Hide your kids, hide your wife. Yeah.
Well, I went to the YouTube channel, and I think it was already blocked too by their thing. It wasn't even on the YouTube. So
beautiful. I don't have anything against anybody that wants to make a living how they do. Just I don't think it's appropriate for the show. Brandon just yelled 17-14 Ravens. I'll take it, man. I'll take a win as any way I can get it. I'm gonna bring back up. I'm gonna bring back up the very first slide we have here. because we're talking about this and talking about this win. But yeah, it's just such a crowded. There's 7 teams get in. Remember, it's not 6 anymore; it's 7. So from the number 1 seed to the number 7 seed, there's only a 2-game difference. And you see all those games in yellow are the games that the teams play against each other. So again, this week the big game, New York Jets at Buffalo. You'll also have Miami going to the West Coast to face the Chargers. With all this turbulence, Jamil and Jamal, Lamar getting hurt and like all this just stuff going on, the Ravens moved up a spot from the number 4 seed to the number 3 seed. It's kind of crazy. It doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, I was actually surprised. But when I found out that Tennessee lost, that's when I was like, okay, that's why we moved up, because Tennessee was above us at first. No, Miami was the number 3 seed, right? Weren't they? Like, there's a lot of like flippy flop, like because Buffalo was further down, I believe. KC was number 1, and I believe Miami was number 2. So Miami lost. That's why they dropped. Okay, cool.
That's what it was. Yeah, Tennessee was 3 the whole time, and we were 4 the whole time.
And we were 4. Yes. That's exactly how
Miami and Buffalo switched spots as soon as Miami lost.
So Jason, can you answer this for me? If the playoffs started today, right? The 3 seed played the what seed?
The 6.
Miami.
Yeah. We get Miami here in Baltimore again. I wouldn't mind it, dude. I
want it to happen. Because I don't like what Tua did to us. I want us to. I don't like that.
That's my mindset too, honestly. Like I feel like it just seems like I don't know. In our other 2 Super Bowl victories, we had to go through who we had to go through. There wasn't no like, oh, these guys got knocked off. You know what I mean? It's just we had to go through the Andrew Luck, the Peyton Manning, and the Tom Brady. And to get to where we wanted, we had to go through Tennessee in 2000 and the MVP and Rich Gannon. So, I mean, dude, they're all good teams. They're all good teams. I think the Ravens. Playoffs. The Ravens could get lucky though. I mean, I could see us finishing with like the 3rd seed or the 2nd seed, and having like Kansas City or Buffalo get knocked off by like a Cincinnati or a Miami or whoever else is down there. Like, there's a lot of capable teams.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
KC might. Kansas City might win out.
They might run the table.
Yeah, I'm looking at the remaining of their schedule. Seattle might be a tough one for them, but they might win out, and that means that they will be 14-3, which is incredible. Buffalo have a tough schedule, and the Ravens, like you said, the Ravens could creep up in that 2nd spot because of how tough Buffalo's schedule is.
Yeah, really. And then Miami right behind them, Jamil.
Yeah.
They're going to the West Coast. Then they got Buffalo. Then they're playing in that AFC East is a killer. My buddy Iovoris Torres, he said it hurts to type it. I'm not even going to read it. It hurts to read it, man. Hurts to read it. Can't read it. A couple other comments from our friend, man. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Travis has been quiet. Yes, he has. Love Roderick. Yes. Tyler Linderbaum will be fine with the short passing game. Yes. And then here's the one. I've got a string of guesses. KC not beating Denver twice. Ooh, that's a man. I can't see Denver beating anybody, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't see Denver doing anything. I just don't.
I saw the one guy from the Broncos say that was one of the worst games he's ever seen played, but he thinks that this could be the worst trade in NFL history, Alec. Worst trade ever.
I mean, for sure. It has to be. There's so much capital, the absolutely suffocating salary cap number. I mean, it's just bad. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Even if he turns it around and plays like twice as good as he is right now next year, it's still not good. It's still not good.
It's not. It's not.
The only saving grace is they had a lot of injuries this year, and this year was probably not going to be their year no matter what. So, like, this year failing, okay. Like, I don't think they were going to pull it out. But I don't have any positive signs that next year is going to be better.
So, I got a couple more comments here to go to. Elliot, Chargers beating Miami Sunday would make this wild. All right, so let's look at it. So, okay, yeah, the Chargers moved to 7-6. Miami would move to 8-5. Yeah, and with Miami going to Buffalo the next week, I see what you mean. I see what you mean, Elliot.
Chaos.
It would be chaos. And our friends in Cincinnati, for as well as they're playing, they still got to go win that Tampa Bay game that we won. Then they got to go up and win that New England game in New England that we won. They get Buffalo at home like us. Cincinnati always has the same exact schedule for, I believe it's 14 out of the 17 games. So they go to the same places. They play the same teams in the same places. So they still got it tough too, man. It's really, really, really rough. So we have a question here from Z the Beast. Let's get our answers. Who do you guys think the MVP of the Ravens so far is? For me, it's Marlowe. Whew. You know what? I'll start, man. Marlowe's a great choice. I think he's probably, I would say, played the best out of any Raven that I can think of right now off the top of my head. It's definitely not the receivers. It's definitely not the running back. Ronnie's been hurt. You could take Kevin Zeitler, I guess, if you want on offense, or Mark Andrews. Defense, just going through, Roquan hasn't been here. I wouldn't give it to Justin Houston or Marlowe. I'm with you. Justin Houston, Marlowe, Zeitler.
Calais out there.
Maybe, yeah.
Cable.
Go ahead, Alex.
But Marlowe, I think Marlowe's the number one. Very good choice. I would say Marcus Williams, if you do it like a divide by games actually played. But I understand what you're saying. Like, he hasn't played enough games, but if you divide by the actual games played, MVP.
That's not how it works, bro. Like, I went 1-for-1 with a 90-yard bomb, bro. I could win the NFL MVP, Jamil.
No, I don't work like that.
Bro, I'll do it to it. I'll do it to it. I'll just throw it to Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, you retire.
Here you go, buddy. I'm in the record books forever, man. 90-yard bomb is what it's going to look like on the score sheet, man.
Yeah, for sure. Now, and I'm with you guys. Marlowe is the obvious choice, and he's been playing phenomenal. So, he doesn't get all the glitz and glamour because Baltimore isn't a big market, and he's not a quarterback. I think if he played on another team in a bigger market, Marlowe would get a lot more attention, and he doesn't get the credit he deserves by like the media and things of that nature. But his peers respect him, so that's the most important thing. And
I think, dude, he's the most important player on this team next to Lamar, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Even with Ronnie, we have a backup. The receivers are the receivers. Like, losing one of them wouldn't kill us. But you go ahead and you take Marlon Humphrey out of the cornerback room. we don't have anybody that can travel with the best receiver. They'll just move that best receiver away from Marcus Peters and go to town. So if you would say like most valuable, like in the true meaning of the MVP, it's Marlon for me, like by a mile. Like, he's more valuable than anybody else on the team. I must have made a good point, man. Hey, his name.
Valuable. Hey.
I think Lamar's pretty high up there.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to give Lamar the MVP. It feels so weak. It feels so mindless.
Well, yeah, I guess the team MVP works different. Didn't Mark Andrews win it last year, Jamil?
I believe so. I think he did. If he didn't win, he should have.
Who decides that though, right? Is it the Ravens don't give that out, do they?
Yeah, they have a Ravens MVP every year.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
So Alec didn't know about Willie Taggart. Doesn't even know who he is. Thinks he's Merrill Haggard. Musical reference for any of the oldies out there. But yeah, and then he didn't know about the Ravens MVP. Rare night off for Alec, who usually knows more than me, Jamil. He knows more.
I hopped on, or it was a last minute hop on early,
Yeah,
I didn't give as much time to read through the documentation. I've been so bad about Twitter lately, man. I've been saying it in all my shows. I'm terrible at keeping up with Twitter. I have no idea what's going on anymore.
Dude, you don't want to go on there.
You don't.
I need a daily digest. I need to make a little list of like you, Jamil, just like keep it real basic.
I torture myself every day with Twitter, man. Even as much as I say I'm not going, well, I don't indulge in certain conversations, but I still scroll and I still read it. I just can't help it. I just read it. I may not respond, but I still just cannot help myself but to read it, man. I swear. I don't. It's just it's a habit, bro. I don't know what it is. It's like, oh, it makes you want to throw like just toss your phone. But some stuff is good to read. I didn't know who Willie is it Taggart? Taggart. Sorry. I
Yeah.
was not familiar with him, and then I did my research. So I'm familiar with him now. But when I first heard his name, I was not familiar with him at all.
Who?
Me neither. I don't know nothing about the Gulf Coast offense either. It just doesn't sound.
It's I will say it's I guess we can do another show. I don't know if you want to talk about that today, but yeah.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit before you got on, but I mean, I know about it from what most people know about it, but
Yeah.
I haven't studied it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I haven't either. Yeah.
Yeah, Z to B. Speaking of the Chiefs, I think this season proves even more how great Mahomes is. He doesn't have Cheetah anymore, producing the same, but it doesn't diminish how great Cheetah is. Yeah, Jameel, this ain't one of these Bill Belichick, Tom Brady situations where Brady left and Belichick can't field a winning team with any kind of danger, and Brady won the Super Bowl.
Right.
Cheetah looks great even with Tua, and Patrick Mahomes looks great with Travis Kelce and guys like Juju Smith-Schuster and MVS over there.
Yeah, me and a couple of my buddies was just talking about this. It's just I think it just says a lot about Patrick Mahomes as a player, and it also says a lot about Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy. It says a ton about them because, like I said, those guys that's under Travis Kelce and that's under Juju. I mean, he's a pretty solid receiver, but MVS, he's serviceable. McCole Hardman, serviceable. He's fast but serviceable. Scott Moore, they're not really. He's a rookie. He doesn't really get a ton of snaps. Like they don't have the wide receiver room that just blows your mind. They have the great offensive mind coaches that can get these guys involved, and they maximize these guys' skill sets. So that's all I have for the Chiefs. Yep.
That's what Torres had to say. Andy Reid coaching. I know how much you love coaching, and I do too, Jameel.
I love coaching, man. I love coaching.
It does make a big difference, man. When you see Jared Goff, Jimmy Garoppolo in the Super Bowl, you realize, coaching means kind of like we saw Baker Mayfield when I think he was like the rookie of the year that year. As soon as they got what's his face Kubiak in there, Stefanski, Kubiak disciple.
Yeah,
man. So here we are. Final thoughts time as we head into Sunday. Alec, thank you so much for scooting up your time real quick, coming in at the beginning. Got a good film study on. Make sure you catch Alec at One Bit Winning Pod. Also, before you leave, before you head out, hit the like button. Hit the subscribe. I'm probably going to put out a Daniel Falele cut up tomorrow. Sometimes you got to put out the bad cut ups too, bro. So I want to watch him in his pass set over and over again. I'll probably put all his pass sets first and then put all his run blocking second so you can try to pick up some patterns from it. But yeah, so that way you turn your notifications on, keep up with the channel. Alec, final thoughts, my friend.
I think this could be a really big game for the Ravens and their season outlook. I think if they're able to pull together a win, divisional game with Huntley, I think that'll be huge for the team morale and kind of just prove that we can keep the trains on time for a little bit against these kind of like subpar opponents, and then hopefully Lamar is healthy by Cleveland, if not Atlanta, and then go from there.
There you go.
And Brandon, I think Stanley's going to be back. We didn't talk about that. I think he might be back this week.
Yeah, Ronnie Stanley back to a full practice.
That's a big deal.
I like Brandon's final thoughts there, Jameel. They're going to be whatever you want to feel, whatever you're about to say for your final thoughts. I'm taking Brandon's over yours, sir.
Yeah, he got it, man. Mine are not even going to be able to top that. I'm just going to say, take it 1 week at a time. Fans, relax, breathe, just enjoy football, and just let the season play out, man. Just try to enjoy the season, and let's just take it 1 week at a time, Ravens. Let's go out there, get a W, and let's take it 1 week at a time.
hey, I'm building off of Jamil's point here. Just because you inspired me, man. I usually don't plan anything out. Look, control in life what you can control. Don't worry about what you can't control. You can't worry about what the celebrities are doing. They're not you. They don't affect your life. You can't worry about what your football team's doing and live and die with it. You got to have fun. Harbaugh's not listening to you. DaCosta is not listening to you. The quarterback is not listening to you. Try to enjoy it. Do not write this Ravens team off, okay? Do not expect them to win the Super Bowl. Don't be crushed if either happens. We've got a game against the Pittsburgh Steelers Sunday, a game that we're 2.5-point underdogs, according to Alec, but a game that, of course, we can win. With Tyler Huntley, who's been around now for a couple of years, comfortable starting games against a bad Pittsburgh offense. You win this week. Look, maybe Lamar comes back the week after. And then maybe Greg Roman's gone and T. Martin starts calling the plays and he starts dialing up this offense. Maybe the players rally behind T. Martin. So there is a pathway to this team getting better and getting in a groove. There's still 5 weeks left in the regular season. That puts us into early January before these games really start mattering for the Ravens if they want to go where they're going to go. So I would just say, look, it's cool to have your complaints. I've probably more madder and more smart-assy on this show than I've ever been. It's cool to feel that way. I don't feel great right now, man. I got to be honest about this team. But also, don't be like, we suck, where there's no chance. And also, just don't blow it up and start playing the blame game because don't stress yourself out, man. Life is too damn short. So, there we go, man. Yeah, thank you, Bailey. Almost put Bailey in timeout. If I ever put you in timeout by accident, that was just me being dumb. And Anon, hey, bro, thank you. Great Zen moment in preparation for Sunday. You got to, bro. You got to go with the flow. So with that, I want to say thank you so much to Alec Polianis, One Winning Pod. You are the man. Check out Alec's pod. Thank you to Jamil helping me hold it down here, bro. Post hurricane, Jamil's coming through for me.
Yes, sir.
And with that, I want to say thank you to our football family. Love my football family. Check out, I have the Daniel Falele video up soon. Check out the run defense video. Hope you enjoyed the film breakdown. Say good night to the people, fellas.
Good night, everybody. Have a good one.
See ya. Good night.